To be honest, the entire 2 weeks I was there, I didn't look at my position once. You know, for me it was the finished podium. That's what we were aiming for, and I really couldn't care less if I came last. I actually came third last, but I think it would have been kind of cool if I came last.
You did too well.
Yeah, that's it. Bit of an overachiever.
Joey Evans was nooit gepla oor hoeveelste hy in die Dakar-tydren eindig nie. Dit was sy droom om bloot die uitmergelende ren te voltooi, en hy was die enigste Suid-Afrikaner wat dit vanjaar op 'n motorfiets kon vermag. Maar Evans het oor die afgelope sowat 9 jaar iets nog moeiliker as die Dakar moes aandurf. Hy het in 2007 sy rug tydens 'n fratsongeluk by 'n tydren gebreek.
I was unconscious and I lost that part of my memory, but I was told that one guy came into sort of the side of me, if that makes sense, and it high-sided me, and I kind of popped up in the air. They reckon I landed on the top of my head, and I broke, obviously broke my back, and then other riders went over me as well. And I just said to the paramedic, I said, I can't feel my legs. It was originally thought or diagnosed to be a complete injury, which is complete paralysis. You're never going to get anything back. But they operated, they took some pressure off my spinal cord and things, and then my injury was diagnosed as a T8, T9 incomplete spinal cord injury. What it means is you get some stuff back, but not everything. And that's really, how I am now. I've got some, obviously I've got movement in my legs, I can walk. The way you see me walking now is literally taken years, I can't run. I can do a bit of a dodgy jog, but I can't feel hot, cold or pain sensation below my chest. I still have to take medication and have other complications with bowels and bladder and that kind of stuff, as part of the spinal cord injury. But it's stuff that I've learned to deal with and that don't hold me back.
Tog het hy selfs op sy hospitaalbed bly vasklou aan sy droom om die Dakar aan te durf.
Every dream that I had was gone. You suddenly realize that your whole life's different, and you got to find this new life, this new you, and try to figure stuff out. But when I was lying there in hospital, I thought to myself, can you imagine if I came back from this and still did the Dakar? That would just be like, wow. But to be honest, at the time, I didn't think it would be possible. I really didn't think, because at the time, I didn't think I'd even walk again. I was told I wouldn't, and it was a lot to accept. But with time, as I started to regain some movement and then walk again, and within a couple of years ride again. When I started riding again, I thought, man, if we can ride, you never know what the future holds, and then the dream started really I started to kind of get a little bit of belief in this dream that possibly this could happen,
Die pad tot hier was vol kronkels. Na hy weer leer loop het, moes hy stoei om terug op 'n motorfiets te klim.
I'd ridden and raced bikes for years, and suddenly the thought of getting on a bike, I really wanted to ride a bike, but it made me feel physically sick, knowing what I'd been through and stuff. And the first time I got on a bike, I was like, yeah, this is cool, this is wow. Although it had been obviously a big hard thing for my body and stuff, to be able to ride the bikes again for my soul was just fantastic.
By die Dakar is Evans ook met die een uitdaging na die ander gepeper, waaronder 'n geskeurde ligament in sy linkerknie.
I thought the race was over there, and it would have been, if it would have been so sad to after everything we'd been through, And I had a sticker on my bike that said, I didn't come this far to only come this far, And that's really what it was, For a lot of guys there, it was day 4, but I was at the end of nearly 10 years, of recovery and stuff, and so I wasn't going to quit for a ligament after all of that.
Maar 'n nog groter uitdaging het op hom gewag.
The biggest challenge, without a doubt, was on day 12. I had a car come up behind me, and the cars normally give you about a 250 meter notice, and this guy gave me about 30, and I tried to get out the way, and I couldn't get the bike out the way, and I kind of just turned off to the side, dropped the bike, and kind of rolled away from the bike, and the car just went straight over my bike.
Just had a car go right over my bike.
He broke, flattened all the exhaust, bent it all into the wheel, broke all my navigation tower, broke off my foot peg, split open all my right side petrol tank, all my petrol went out, and I thought I was out, you know. After that happened, I was like, you know, it's over, you know. And I picked up the sat phone. I had a sat phone with me, and I phoned my wife and I said, hey, I know you're following on the tracking. I'm not going to be in today, you know. This is it. We're out, you know. I was just gutted. I looked at this bike and I just kind of thought to myself, I thought, no, you know, I'm not gonna be sitting here in the desert and, you know, come get picked up. And what I did was I took the exhaust off, I took all the broken plastics off, I cut all the wires that had been damaged, so I didn't short out the bike and stuff. I try to make a plan with a foot peg, but it didn't work. I kind of made a plan to get the seat back on, and then I rode that bike, and I couldn't ride in the track because the bike didn't have a lot of power. So I kind of zigzagged through the bush and the little, you know, plains and stuff, and I did that for another 10 or 15 kilometers, and it took me a couple of hours, and I was running out of petrol. I still had more than 600 kilometers to do that day. So it was a case of, at the speed I was going and the problems I had, it was quite literally impossible that I was going to make it in that day. But then I came across another bike, and there was a rider that had been airlifted because he'd broken his arm, and his bike was there, and his bike was the same bike as my bike, you know, KTM Rally Replica, and as part of the Dakar spirit, I took his exhaust and the holder for the foot peg, you know, we stripped it all off his bike. We, you know, siphoned the petrol out of his bike, and then I rode those next 600 Ks, you know, and I didn't have navigation. All my navigation stuff was broken, so I was like looking down at the dirt tracks, following vehicles, trying to figure out. I never saw another bike from 11 o'clock that morning right through until 2 o'clock the next morning when I finally arrived at the next bivouac.
So wat is volgende vir die bitter einder?
I'm going to sleep and eat a bit.
And you're going on holiday.
Yeah, that's it, you know. To be honest, I don't know what the future holds, and that's kind of what's really cool about the future, you know. It's not written yet, you know. It's kind of opened my eyes a lot, you know, this has, you know, to the possibilities, you know, that you can have a dream and you can chase that dream, and sometimes it seems impossible, but you chase that dream, and before you know it, you're living that dream.